Hey everybody, I am Chef Sean and this is my wonderful assistant,
Isa.
and today we're going to make
Some creamy goat cheese pasta with lots of veggies.
lots of veggies and some chicken thighs too. So it's going to be a delicious dinner, something that's fun and great to make and using some different ingredients. So sit back, enjoy the ride, and let's do some cooking. Does that sound too corny?
No, that's fine.
That sounds fine, okay. Stop. So for today's pasta, we use lots of fresh ingredients, lots of different stuff, which is fun. Makes for a different dinner. So we're gonna start off with the basics here. We're gonna start from left to right here. We got a bottle of wine. So we're using Pinot Grigio. It's kind of a lighter wine and it's crisp flavor. Then we have a bunch of spinach and arugula. This is fresh Parmesan cheese, which we grated with our microplaner. So it gives you a nice like dust, which is great for the cooking. Little Tabasco, a few jiggers of that. We'll be using world famous. This is a log of fresh goat cheese. That's a nice, cool flavor to the whole dinner. So I got chicken thighs instead of chicken breast because I think they have a lot more flavor, and I just enjoy it more than chicken breast. Chicken breast it's good, but it's not my favorite for this application. We're gonna use chicken thighs, but feel free to use chicken breast if that's your favorite. We also have some asparagus, which I've just chopped up a little bit. Just cut it in nice little pieces, and this will cook up quick. We have some sun-dried tomatoes, which are already julienne. And then I got these cool mushrooms. They're king trumpet mushrooms. So there's a nice big mushroom. The ones I got were already sliced, but I kind of put them together so you can see it's a nice big size mushroom. It's really firm. These ones are sliced, but you can take them and you can saute these off if you're a vegan or vegetarian. And they'll give you a nice chewy texture, kind of meat-like. Season up, salt, pepper, really, really tasty. So I just julienned a bunch of those. We'll add those julienne ones to them. Then we have some world famous pesto sauce. So you want to have pesto. Some tomatoes. We got a bunch of just grape tomatoes. Just cut them in half. We got some here that I didn't cut in half. We'll do that. One cool way to do it is, there's a traditional, you just kind of put them right here one at a time. But if you get a bunch of them, you can put your hand on top of them flat and just go through all of them. And you can do a whole bunch of them really quick. You got a nice sharp knife and just go right through all of them and get your tomatoes nice and cut in half. Then we have, Italian food, so garlic. Gotta have your garlic. And then we have some shallots. Shallot it's in the garlic and onion family. They grow together in a bulb, kind of like a garlic, and they come with a nice little thin skin on them. So I took them and I'm just gonna brunoise them. Brunoise, again, this is a fancy word for really cut up really small. So the way you do that with these ones here, again, with your finger on top of it, so you keep all your fingers intact. You're gonna go through a couple times, through it sideways. Keep a knife flat. Go through like 4 or 5 times. About halfway through or 3/4 way through your shallot. And then you can go back across it and just slice it. Just go slice through it. And then it's a 3-step process. The last one, you can go right across it. And then that will give you what is called brunoise. And then lastly, we have 2 more things here to go to, or 3 things. Basil. So once you pick your basil, we're going to want to chiffonade it. And chiffonade is just, again, another fancy French word for cutting into thin little strips. So the best way to do it is you just take your basil, put like the biggest one on the bottom, put a bunch of smaller ones inside of it, roll it up nice and tight. And then with your knife, you can cut them as thin or as thick as you want. I always like it really, really thin. So you're just going to cut really, really thin. Again, keep your fingers, your thumb behind your finger, behind your knuckles, so that you keep all your fingers intact, because it's kind of gross having fingers in your food. I know it's finger food, but I don't think that's what the meaning is. So also make sure your knife is nice and sharp. This way you get nice thin pieces, but also it won't get black if you have a sharp knife. If you have a dull knife and you go to cut, your basil will get really dark really quick, which is not pretty. Last 2 things we have is, first one is we have our chicken stock. We made chicken stock in the previous video. You saw that. And if you can see here, it is wiggling, jiggling like jello. It's all the gelatin is coming up, including the chicken feet. That makes them everything just delightful. So I'll add a little of that to our stock. And then finally, last but not least, heavy cream. So we'll add all that together. We'll cook our pasta. The whole thing, by the time you start the water boiling and cooking your pasta, you cook all this and it'll come up at the same time. So it's a nice 2-pot meal that you can cook very quickly. We're also going to cook really quick. We're going to do some croutons. We're going to do a salad. So with some old bread, I'll show you how to make some croutons. Really delicious. So my wife is gluten sensitive. She is luckily not celiac, but she is gluten sensitive. She doesn't do as well with pasta as she used to, but she still loves pasta. So today, instead of using some gluten-free pasta, we made some spaghetti squash. And we'll use that as a base for her noodles. So we'll have that to go with our dinner, and then the regular pasta, fettuccine, to go with this. And again, the whole meal comes together very quickly. All right, so for a lovely dinner tonight, I figured it's a good thing to have a salad too, because we can have more green stuff, because we have a lot of green stuff, a lot of veggies, but let's have a nice salad. So one thing I always like with a salad is some fresh croutons. So what we have is, I make some beautiful bread, and this is a little peel of it, so not much left. So what we'll take is of our lovely crusty bread. We'll take some of it, and we're just going to cut it into some small pieces here, crouton size, nice little pieces. And then we're going to add some of our world famous Parmesan cheese, some of the basil, garlic, olive oil, salt, and pepper. So it's going to be some delightful little croutons. So Isa, I'll cut it, and if you can toss and put everything together. All right, so we'll have just this delightful salad. You want to have them roughly, all the pieces roughly the same size. We'll put it in a bowl there. It just helps for cooking purposes, you know. It's not for a beauty contest, but when things are the same size going in the oven at the same time, they tend to cook a whole lot better, you know. So what should we add next? How about some of your, we'll put a little olive oil. Let's add some of this to it. So we'll do that in there. We'll toss it all up. Next we'll add just a little bit of garlic, just because, you know, what the heck, let's make this good, right? Throw some of your Parmesan in there too. Oh, salt, yeah, a little salt. A couple grinds of pepper. I'll throw some delightful basil, which we just shifting on. Throw that in there too. And throw a nice little bit of cheese in there too, that beautiful Parmesan cheese. Now just toss it up. You can do it with your hand, or you can try flip it. Go ahead, go for it. Oh, you gotta do it like with conviction. There you go. You gotta have the conviction when you toss it, like you mean it. Oh yeah, it goes flying. You know. There you go. So there you go. So you get it all tossed together. Looking good. Looking good. Oh yeah. There we go. Now, flying stuff. So anyhow, now let's put it on our silpat, our nice baking sheet, and we'll spread it out nice and even. And we'll toast this at a 350-degree oven for like 5 minutes. In the meantime, we've been cooking our world famous spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash, you're going to cut them in half, take out the seeds, and I season mine with a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and then some basil. And you basically cook them upside down. I'll pull them out so you can see them. And you know it's done is when you poke the top of the squash and it gives. It's a little bit soft. That's how you know it's ready to come out. And you take it apart and make little spaghettis out of them. So we'll get this cooking, and away we go.
Jesus,
that's hot.
It literally just came out of the oven. You took it out yourself.
Yeah, it's hot. Don't do that. So here's our world famous spaghetti squash. Again, like I said, when you take this, been cooking at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. Depends on the size of the squash. Depends on how long it's going to take. But you want to be able to kind of squishy.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, make a squishy sound.
Do it for me.
Squishy. Okay. So it's a little hot. So again, we season it, salt, pepper, a little fresh basil. You put it up in there, and then use a fork actually. Oh, sorry. Awkward. So we get a fork, and when you scrape along it, you can see you scrape. Just like that. And then you pull it up, and it gets stringy, just like spaghetti. So little individual spaghetti strands. Hence the name spaghetti squash. So for your pasta, if you're doing it at home, you're just going to take it so you can see it gets all nice. Like I said, it really looks like little strings of spaghetti. So that's spaghetti squash 101 real quick, and this will be what my beautiful wife will have for dinner tonight instead of the pasta. But she'll have the rest of the stuff with it, because why would you not? So we got our boiling salted water. First of all, one thing I always want to check with your pasta water. Salt your water, but you want it to make sure it tastes like the ocean. You want to have it salty. You don't need to put oil in your water. So don't do that. It's a waste of time. Oil and water do not mix. All you do is have some oily pot that you have to clean up later on. We're gonna cook our pasta. We throw it in whole. We last summer I was cooking it. We had my niece over here from Italy, and she was deeply offended. Genacita, we call her. She was deeply offended that I broke the pasta first. Apparently, it's a huge no-no in Italy. So just get it boiling. Get your water boiling, your salted water, and put your pasta in, and then let it fold. You want to have nice, big, long pasta. It makes, I guess, more fun to slurp it and do all kinds of stuff. But so as not to offend Genacita. Ciao, Bella. Here, we got some beautiful pasta going. So we get our pasta going, give it a little stir occasionally. Our next pot over here, I got a little bit of butter going, actually some clarified butter or ghee. So we're gonna add in, first of all, our garlic. As a chef once told me, you want to get your rowdy friends going first. So you want to get your garlic, you want to get your shallots going first. If you start with something boring, the whole dish is going to, won't have that excitement. Also, we want to get our garlic kind of cooking, get some flavor and a smell of fizzing going on. So your garlic and shallots, get them going. Just saute, just get a little light, just take some of the edge off of them. Next, we got our world famous chicken. We have our chicken thighs. So we're going to get our chicken thighs going. So, again, the whole thing's going to come together pretty quickly. Shove this up on high. You want it to cook. We don't really want to get a lot of color in our chicken. So our chicken's coming along nicely. Next thing we're going to do is we will add our mushrooms. I like to do it when it's still kind of mid-rare because these are mostly rare, but that's okay. Because these mushrooms, they're firm and al dente, but this will give some nice flavor and everything too. So we're going to take our mushrooms. This is probably like a cup and a half of mushrooms. We're going to throw them in there. 2 pounds chicken, about a cup and a half of mushrooms. So we're just going to saute everything together. And the next thing we're going to add, you want to have a little wine. So we'll have the wine. We'll put the wine in there. Nice couple gurgles. And then we will put a top on there. And that will help to steam it. And that will cook everything a whole lot quicker. We're going to add just a little bit of our chicken stock. Probably a couple slurps there. Maybe a quarter cup. Half cup maybe. Add that to our, right in there. So our next thing we're going to add are sun-dried tomatoes now. A little bit of oil in there too. That's alright. That is flavor. We'll add that in. But anyhow, we just want to get everything kind of stirred together. What we're going to do now is reduce that liquid a little bit. Reduce the wine. Reduce some of our chicken stock. Chicken's cooked. So now we can add our asparagus. Let's add the asparagus. Put those up in there. Get that flavor going. At the same time, I'm going to add in my world famous pesto. So this is probably about a half a cup pesto. Let's add that to the whole mix here. So next we got our goat cheese. So our log of goat cheese, we will probably, let's just go for throw a couple little chunks in here. 3 or 4 little chunks. Just go. It's probably about half all that goat cheese. Let's throw it in. This will help start to make our creamy base. And the cheese will just melt down, nice and creamy and delicious. Adds a nice little tang to the dish too. It's not overpowering. Some people are like, ooh, goat cheese, that's gross. Well, actually, you know what? By the time it gets in here, you won't even know it's in there. It just gives that certain little extra flavor, and you're like, what is that? And that is, but it's damn good. So, forever goat cheese. That's all melting. You can just let it sit in there in pieces. It'll melt. World famous heavy cream. So we're probably about a cup of heavy cream in here. And we need 3 or 4 juggas of world famous Tabasco sauce. So a couple juggas of that. Then we're going to add our Parmesan cheese. So we have all this beautiful grated Parmesan cheese. Add that right on top. So get that Parmesan going. So it'll be nice, rich, creamy broth, which we're going to put on top of our pasta. Oh, this is going to be good. So, very next. Now we got that kind of going down. Our sauce is sort of reducing, thickening up. We'll add our tomatoes. A couple handfuls here of arugula and spinach. I like arugula. It has a nice little kind of peppery flavor, and the spinach kind of balances everything out nicely. Plus, more greens for you. It's nice and healthy. And the good thing is this is going to just wilt down to like nothing. So put more than you think you would need. So get all that in there. Kind of push it down. Let it go. And it's going to wilt down to nothing. And our pasta should just be just about cooked. So you want it a little bit al dente. One way you can find out is you just take a bite of it, and then you can just break it in half and see if it's done. Then also you can take it, and if it sticks to stuff, oh, see, it's not quite. It probably will. Yeah, sticks to the ceiling. If it sticks to the ceiling, it's done. So it won't stick to the microwave. But if it sticks to the ceiling, you're done. Pro tip: take it off quick because it'll leave a mark on the ceiling. I found out, my brother and I found out when we were kids, we thought that was the greatest thing. And we threw a whole lot of it up on the ceiling one time when my parents were away. Wasn't a happy day when they came back. I think we ended up having to repaint the ceiling because it all stuck and took paint off. And one thing I always like to do with my pasta so that it does not stick, first thing you do is you just want to hit it with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Put the oil right on top of it, toss it up. Just give it a quick little toss this way. All the individual strands of pasta, which you work so hard to make or to cook, stay individual strands. All right, so we have our beautiful salad. So we did our croutons. We have nice little lettuce, our beautiful crunchy croutons, which we just made fresh. We'll add a little bit more Parmesan because more cheese makes everything better, right? So a little more cheese right on top of that. Even the dog's crying. She knows how good this is going to be. So there's our quick salad. Delightful, fresh croutons, fresh bread. So now we have our sauce over here. I'm going to bring this over. It's nice and hot. So we have our sauce almost finished with our goat cheese, our cream, all that kind of good stuff. And the last thing you need to add to this is some basil. Let's give that a quick little mix up here. Yes, give it a little mixy mix. Let's see, we need we'll try a little bit of this here just to make sure this is good. Because what if this, we can't serve this. What if the guests come and they come over here and the food's no good? Then what do we do?
Throw it away.
Throw it away. Start all over again, right? That'd be just embarrassing. So let's get 2 forks. Make sure this is good. Need a little spoon action.
I got one.
You got one? You got a fork for you, but not for me.
Yep.
So let's get a little pasta. We'll put a little bit of sauce right on top here. Let's see here. And the sauce. Let's give it a shot. See if it's any good. Again.
What?
Whoops. Take it all. All right, let's just see. Oh, man. I don't spin it around official Italian. Cheers. Buon appetit. Buen provecho. And, oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
The dog is gonna love that. Thank y'all for cooking with us. Have a great day. Enjoy. This is a great meal. Enjoy it with your family. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.